a quick sum up for you to know what to expect. You may see 2 to 3 MCQ on this chapter, Chapter 2, Individual Choice. Last time, before it's an MCQ format, it's structured question, right? Without fail, every year you will have one question on Chapter 2, Individual Choice, and it's 8 marks. Okay, so now this one question is replaced by 2 or 3 MCQ. Okay? And when you talk about individual choice, right, there are 4 angles they can come and assess you. 4 angles. You can write down. Okay, 4 angles. First one is very basic angle. First one is purely a theory. Theory means that once you can put the study guide into a flow chart or concept map, which I have really put for you, okay, you can answer it easily, playing with definition, asking you, these are something that is very unlikely for him to come out, right? Unless it's a gift if it come out, because it's just telling you, oh, what is PED, some very, very basic assessment of your understanding of the concept. That's number one, okay? The other 3 angles is the more popular one. The second angle is, whenever you see Chapter 2 question, you will be asked whether this guy is better off or worse off. This is called welfare analysis. That means every time they will ask you whether this individual prefer this or that. That means this, if you prefer option A or option B, which one he prefer? That means the option that brings him higher utility, he will prefer. So this is called welfare analysis. Or he will tell you if something happened, will the guy be better off or worse off? This is called welfare analysis. Okay, that's the second angle. The third angle is called Hixian versus Lasky. This is also quite easy, Hixian versus Lasky. That means they are asking you to compare Hixian and Lasky, substitution effect, income effect. Normally these are the 2 areas they like to play with, substitution or income effect. Okay, and that's where they introduce the concept of Lasky relative to Hixian. Okay, this is the third angle. And you won't miss this question because you will see the word Lasky. By default, you use Hixian in your context, okay, by default. And the last angle, or I would say the most popular angle is, I will call this condition analysis. He gives you some condition. For example, he'll tell you that this good X and good Y are complement, or good X is a normal good, good Y is an inferior good, or the PED, price elasticity of good X is bigger than 1, or this. He gives you some condition and see if you know, given that condition, you can derive your consumer equilibrium. Understand? So this is the 4 angle. Okay, so now that is just a very brief intro. So now I'm going to go into one of the questions. It is a combination. I would think this is one of the hardest one, okay? A combination between Hixian and Lasky as well as condition analysis, okay? Which is 2009AB. So from this question, if you know how to answer this question correctly, you will have very, very good understanding of Hixian versus Lasky, okay, as well as the different feature of concept, or I would say different concept in this chapter. We're talking about maybe inferior good, normal good, all this. Okay, let's take a look at 2009AB. Okay, when you do this Chapter 2 question, right, you should always set up 2 diagrams. Okay, let me show you. X and Y. X and Y. One is for the normal case. The other one is income in kind. Okay, so please take note of this. Unless in the question they specifically talk about income in kind, right, then you will use this diagram. If they never say anything, right, it is, I would think you should, especially in your MCQ, you should examine the normal case, and if the normal case is true, you should also take a step further to examine the income in kind case. Because in his MCQ, you could see some very strong word like must, necessarily, right? Necessarily means what? You're talking about all cases. Okay, so in total, in your context, there are 2 cases. Okay, one is a normal case and one is the income in kind case. For that sentence to be true, right, it should apply for both cases. Unless you show that under both cases is true, then that sentence is true. Okay, so this income in kind is what a lot of students always miss out. Okay, so over here, I take note, there's this case called income in kind. Okay, And of course, this is a special case, income in kind. What do you mean by income in kind? You are being paid, not a wage. You are being paid in terms of X or Y. Then how do you buy other goods? You can take the amount that you suppose I can pay you $2,000. That's normal case. Then you can choose how much to spend on X and how much to spend on Y. Or I can pay you what? 20 units of X. That's called income in kind. Income in kind. So you receive 20 units of X. Then how you can always convert them into your income. By what? By selling all this X in the market at the price of X. Then you will convert into income and you will decide how much of X and Y you want to consume, right? So income in kind means you are paid in terms of good X or good Y, or it can be a combination of good X and Y. Okay? And normal case, so I put here normal case. The normal case is what? You are paid in terms of what? A wage, okay, a salary or an income. That means your income is in monetary terms. Okay, you are paid in terms, your income is in terms of dollar and cents. Okay, so that's the only difference. Okay, think of this. So we always start off with a normal case. Okay, let's take a look now. Before I start, to analyze, you always need to set up your initial equilibrium first. So for consumer, you just what? Okay, let's look at the mechanical step again. Okay, you just happily draw a budget line. Typically for MCQ, your budget line will have no kink. Means that it is a straight line. When they never give you any special characteristics about the budget, it is like this. Same, like for your PC in MCQ. When they don't complicate the whole question, right? You don't have your multi-type firm. You don't have two types of firms, you don't have two types of consumer, you don't have what open market, export, import, right? Your PC graph also very easy. Same for individual choice. Now we are looking from the perspective of an individual. If they never give you any special characteristics about the budget, right? It will be what? It will be just a straight line. Okay? A linear line. Then you always have one point. Choose a point A. Okay? This is where you consume now. And what you do, you draw an indifference curve. Curve left and curve right. Understand? Go to point A, curve left and curve right. So this is the best way to draw. Okay? Because not all of you can draw very nicely. Okay? So this is your indifference curve, UO. Okay? Indifference curve. So given this income, you'll choose this point. That gives you a highest indifference curve. Okay, this is your utility. Come down. You have your XO. This is the optimal X. This is called a consumer equilibrium. And YO. So you'll consume XO amount of X, YO amount of Y at point A where you will maximize your utility. This is your initial setup. You are in a situation where you maximize your utility. Okay, over here, this is the maximum X you can have. So it's what? It's your income, IO, divided by the price of X, right? That means to spend all your income on X. Over here, this is IO divided by the price of Y. Okay, this is your initial setup. Can? Okay, so once you understand this, I'm going to go over here, okay, compare. So if I'm going to set up in a case, this is a case where I'm paid what? I'm paid an income. So that's why I call it the normal case. I paid IO. I paid IO. So what if we look at if you are not paid in terms of income? This is a budget line again. Same thing. You will have, given whatever budget line you have, you will choose a point A where you maximize your utility, and at this point A, you curve left and you curve right. This will be your indifference curve, and this is the utility you get at point A. Utility level you get at point A, and you have your XO and you have your YO. Okay? But the only difference, let's take a look at the difference. In this case, suppose I want to illustrate a situation, income in kind, an easy situation where you are paid in terms of X. You are paid in terms of X. Imagine, I don't pay you an income of $2,000. I pay you maybe, suppose each X is worth $100. I pay you 20X instead. Instead of paying $2,000, I pay you 20X. So what is the maximum X you can have? It's the amount you are paid, X bar. This is the amount you are paid, X bar, right? The maximum X you can have. I pay you all in terms of X. So I pay you 20X. Suppose you do want to consume any Y, then you will have what? 20X, right? If I pay you 100X, 100 unit of X, this is your pay. If you want to consume Y, you can sell your X and take the money you by selling your X, right? And buy Y. But if you don't want, you can keep all the X, then the amount I pay you will be the maximum you have, right? And what if you want to consume all Y? What will you do? I will take all my X bar, right? All my X bar, and I sell it PXO, right? This is what? I convert all my unit of X that you pay me into what? Income, into cash. Then this will be the total amount of money I will receive divided by the price of Y, right? This means I spend every single sum or my entire income by selling all my X, right? This numerator is my entire income by selling all my X. I consume all Y divided by the price of Y. This will be the maximum Y I can consume. So do you see the initial equilibrium setup? That is the difference between when you are being paid an income or you are being paid income in kind. Okay, understand? Okay, of course I can pay you in terms of Y as well. Okay, I can pay you in terms of X and Y as well, but I'm just using a simple example to show you. Can? Okay, this is only stage 1. This is only step 1. I have 5-step model, I told you, right? 5-step model, okay? So, done. Okay, I set up nicely for analysis. So this is always set up nicely for analysis. Then in the question, as usual, if they want you to analyze any effect here, right? They have to give you a shock. The only difference for individual choice versus PC is this. If they never give you a shock, you stimulate your own shock. Because you need a shock to analyze the effect. If nothing changed, you will stay here. You will still be at point A. Nothing will move. You cannot showcase your understanding of the concept. Okay? So, depending on the question, sometimes the question will give you a shock. I believe MCQ will give you a shock. Maybe A, they will say, when price increase, blah, 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 blah. B, when price fall, okay? But if they never give you, in the event they never give you, you simulate or stimulate your own shock, okay? And the shock normally is PX shock. But I'm not saying you cannot have PY shock. I'm going to look at PX shock first, okay? So think of the things that they like to shock for condition analysis or Hickson versus Lasky, PX, okay? So PX shock, this is take a look at PX, okay? Price of X. Okay, let's take a look at 2009AB. Consider a world of two goods, X and Y. As usual, you have two goods, X and Y. So I set out a stage for when you are paid in normal income as well as you are paid in income in kind, X and Y. Okay? The price elasticity of demand for X would have to be greater than unity. Greater than unity means what? These are the conditions they give you. They are trying to tell you that what? PD of X is bigger than 1. Greater than unity. Unity is 1, right? PD of X is bigger than 1. This is the first condition. That's why I call it condition analysis. They're saying this condition will have to appear. Okay? If good Y is perceived as an inferior good. If means that another condition they give you is what? If Y is an inferior good, this thing will happen. You understand what I'm trying to say here? Because they give you two, you have to learn how to put them in order. That means you must have, okay, there are two characteristics here. There are two features here, okay? But you have to what? You have to know which one comes first. If Y is an inferior good, your PD of X would be what? Greater than 1. This is what they're trying to say. And they want you to examine whether this is true or false. Given this condition, whether this is true or false, okay? So they will give you a few characteristics. You have to put them in order. So which one is the given one? This is the given one. This is the constraint. They give you this constraint. Suppose Y is an inferior good, then this thing will happen, okay? One more. Okay, the income effect under Slasky will be smaller than under Hickson. The income effect, so you see this is called conditional analysis, but they also add in Hickson and Slasky for you. The income effect under Slasky or Hickson, under Slasky would have to be smaller than the income effect under Hickson. So over here you have, given this condition, you have to examine whether this is true or false, and these two must happen. Whether this is true or false and this is true or false. Understand? Can? Okay? So this is the question. Okay? Once you understand this, let's go into step 2. Step 1, set our initial equilibrium. Easy. Whether you want to use the normal case or the income in kind case. We always go into the normal case first. Okay? Okay. Step 2, there must be a shock. PX shock, right? And in this question, they never give you, right? Okay? So what to do? Okay, I suppose I let PX increase. Okay, before I continue on, I want to say something here. Okay, oh, okay. Okay, this is quite important because this one will allow you to do your MCQ in a faster. Okay. PX shock. Listen, for condition analysis means what? Means that I'm looking at these 4 characteristics. normal and inferior good, complement and substitute, given good, and PD, price elasticity of demand. Whenever I'm looking at these 4 characteristics, whether the price go up or down, the effect is the same. Think of this. Okay, one more time. This is quite important. Okay, whenever the question asks you to examine these 4 characteristics, normal or inferior good, okay, complement versus substitute, given good, PED, smaller or less than 1, greater or less than unity, whether the price of X go up or down, the effect will be the same. So you only need to do 1. And this will be very good because why? Imagine MCQ, part A, price go up, part B, price go down. If you can prove part A is false, part B will also be what? False. Do you understand? Okay, but if they want to talk about Hickson versus Lasky, the price direction matter. That means the effect will not be the same. So imagine one of the option A and B is talking about the earlier 4 characteristics, right? When you prove one false, the other one automatically will be false. Okay, that means you A and B both out already. Left with C and D, and if C and D say price increase and they talk about Hickson versus Lasky, the income effect and substitution effect. D also, when price fall, the income effect. Remember, Hickson versus Lasky, when the price effect, the direction of the price change, right? The effect is different. This will help you a lot in the MCQ. So you don't need, you can imagine, you are not going to examine every single ABCD, right? It's going to be too time consuming. Everyone you have to draw this and examine. So this is something that I believe will be very, very helpful for you. Can? Take note of this. So over here, step 2. Over here they never tell you any short, so I let PX increase. But okay, PX increase. Let's take a look. PX increase. So PX increase means what? Total amount of Y I can consume is still the same. So step 2 is always draw the new budget line. A shock will happen and the budget line will change. Okay, I'm not going to go into detail for this. I'm just trying to tell you how to do this question. Okay, PX increase over here. Budget line, if you talk about a linear budget line, it's all about 2 points only, right? Only about 2 points. So if you're talking about this, okay, there's no PX here. So the maximum Y I consume will still be the same. But if PX increase over here, my denominator, from a mathematical perspective, my denominator go up, right? My whole fraction will go down. Intuitively, of course, when PX increase, the maximum amount of X you can buy also fall, right? So you move to the left. Okay, PX increase. Understand? So this is your step 2. Step 2, you need to have that new budget line. Remember, okay, you need to have that new budget line, IO over PX1. Okay, you must have your new budget line. Let's do the normal case first. Don't rush. Okay, because from here I'm going to show you the 2 cases side by side, so you really understand it very well. Okay, Ken? Okay, so you have a new budget line. Okay, this is step 2. Step 1, set out initial equilibrium. Step 2, a shock will happen. No shock, you simulate your own shock, and you can derive the new budget line. Step 3. Step 3 is your Hicksian. You always need your Hicksian. Okay? Because why? I can tell you 2 reasons why you need a Hicksian. First is what? At least in the intro to econs concept, Hicksian, right, is the one that divide your normal good and inferior good. Over here, you have the condition for inferior good. So you need your CH, Hicksian. Second reason why you need Hicksian, over here they want you to examine between Hicksian and Slutsky. So you must have your Hicksian. Okay? By default it's Hicksian. How do you find your Hicksian? Okay. Imagine, this is what Hicksian means. Okay, all look here. Imagine if my new budget line changed. So to maximize my utility, right? My point B, my final equilibrium has to be somewhere here. Right? On your consumer equilibrium must always be on your budget line. Take note of this. So initially, point A is on your old budget line. When your budget line change, your new equilibrium will be on your new budget line, right? Okay. So what is Hicksian? Hicksian is, imagine I give you some, I adjust your income. This is your income after the shock. I adjust your income so that you can still afford your previous utility. So in this case, I adjust up, touch one point, stop. This will be your CH, and this will be, you want to know the name for this is actually income compensational line for Hicksian. Understand? So practically you take a ruler, that's why they call it the parallel, but it's actually adjusting. Right? Imagine this is after your shock, this is your income. But imagine if you can adjust it. I can adjust it up or down, I adjust it so that I can still afford my previous utility. Stop. Okay? This will be my Hicksian. Understand? Okay? So this is my Hicksian. And the reason is this, when I adjust it until I can still afford my utility, I can say I have taken away the income effect. Because under Higgsian, same income means that as long as you can enjoy the same utility, means that your income is unchanged. Your real income is unchanged. Can? Okay, that one is concept. Okay, so once you get a Higgsian, what do you do? Trace down. Okay, this will be your XH, Higgsian output. Okay, Higgsian output. Take a look. Okay, Higgsian. That means if I take away your income effect, this will be my Higgsian output. And this intersection is by chance, coincident. Don't go and purposely draw it. Your draw never intersects, okay? Okay? This is purely by chance. And I hate by chance, so let me take away this. Because, you know, as I always mention, students like to memorize pattern. Can? Okay, no more by chance. Okay? Can? Easier? I don't want you to memorize. They must cut in this way, they must cut in that way. Okay, can? This is your. Okay. Okay? Okay, this is your step 3. Step 3 is step 1, initial equilibrium. Step 2, a shock must happen. They never give you a shock. You simulate your own shock. The shock must be on PX. Okay? Can? Okay? And you will have a new budget line. That's step 2. Step 3, you can take a ruler and move parallel to derive your CH and your XH. Okay? Step 4, what is step 4? Step 4, I call it dividing the sides. You only divide based on whatever condition they want to give you. Okay, over here, what are the conditions here? The blue color is condition analysis. They give you this condition, and they give you this condition. Right? So how do I divide the sides? For this, there's a few ways. Let's look at the mechanical way. Okay, mechanical way. Normal and inferior good, the reference point is at your CH. Okay, and I divide it vertically. Okay, because I'm not covering the concept. I'm just teaching how to do the question. There's a reason behind when do you have a vertical divider and when do you have a horizontal divider. Okay, but never mind. I just divide it vertically. Okay, so the reference point is at point CH and I divide it vertically. So I have your left side and I have my right side. Okay, so whenever you want to look at normal or inferior good, the reference point is CH. You go and find your CH, and after that the divider, you just draw a vertical line. Can? Okay, so let's learn the mechanical step first. Normal inferior good, reference point is CH. Divider, vertical line cut, left side, right side. Okay, let's take a look now. So over here, X can be normal or inferior good. I do not know, right? Let's take a look. How do you know? Look from CH to your point B. Your final equilibrium is on your new budget line. Remember what I say? Your equilibrium is always on your budget line. So initial one is at point A. New one will be point B will be on the new budget line. From CH to point B. From CH to point B, right? From CH to point B, your income 4 or increase. From CH to point B, your income 4. If your income 4, look, at CH, you are consuming so much X. If your income 4 means that at point B, you should consume what? Less X, right? Okay, you see, one more time. At CH to point B, your income 4, right? Your income 4. Your income 4. So if your income 4, if X is a normal good, right? You will consume what? Less. Lesser than what? Lesser than at CH, right? So you should consume less. At point B, you should consume less X than at CH, which is than at XH. So to the left, anything to the left is less X than at CH, right? So therefore, this is your normal good. The other side will be your inferior good. Understand? So that's why you need a reference point at CH. Okay? Can? So I divide the sides. So this one, the sides is done. I done already. Okay, now let's take a look now. This one. PD of X bigger than 1. Let me teach you. The reference point, point A. Always go to your initial equilibrium and the line, if it's a PX shock, will be horizontal. Okay, I have to divide the sides first. Later I'll tell you what all this means. Okay, so up and down. Okay, up and down. Okay, up and down. So this is the one that sometimes students find it a little bit among all the four characteristics, right? This is the one that students sometimes find a little bit hard to derive. Okay, PD, right? PD. So I need to know whether it's bigger or smaller than 1. Up and down, right? Okay, this is how it works. Look, this is how it works. Huh? I don't know, I need to fill up the sign, right? If here is bigger, here could be smaller. If here is smaller, here is bigger, right? I need to fill out the sign. So how do I fill up the sign? I use this thing. PED, you always use what? You always use this equation. Look at this equation. PXX plus PYY must be equals to your income, right? This is the equation. Because at your consumer equilibrium, to maximize your utility, you will spend everything you have. Okay? So, let's take a look now. Over here, how many items are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, my job is to fill up the sign for this 5 items. Okay? First item. I always go into these 3 items first. These 3 items. These 2 are the variable, right? X and Y. X and Y. So, I go into these 3 items first. PX, PY, and I. And it's very straightforward. PX what? Increase. That's why this one depend on the shock you stimulate, okay, please. Okay, this one depend on the shock you stimulate. Okay, PX, increase. PY, did I give you any shock here? You never shock, right? I only shock PX, right? So PY is unchanged, income is unchanged. Can? My shock is what? PX, alright? I shock a PX. Okay, so this is the first step. Next, these 2, right? This is the confusing part. Which one should you fill up first? Okay, this is the one you should fill up first. Okay? The one where the shock happened. So if PX shock, we're talking about this term. If PY shock, so far they never give you PY shock. But the whole thing still works for PY shock, is this term, right? Okay, now the shock hit this item here. There are 3 items here, 1, 2, 3. This is your total spending on X, total spending on Y, and your income. So the shock hit this. So I will talk about this. So I need to fill up my X. How do you fill up this? Very easy. Ask yourself, is X a given good here? Because if X is not a given good, right? Law of demand means that they must move in opposing direction. Okay? So is X a given good? In the context of this question, they never say X is a given good, right? So X is not a given good means what? When price go up, you will buy less. Understand? Easy? So you zoom in into the item that they short. Okay? Or you short. Okay. Last one. This is the tricky one. Last one. Look. This Y, student always cannot fill up the direction. Hey. This one is your control point. This one is chosen by you. Whether you want to examine the top one first or bottom one first. If I want to examine the top one first, I want to fill up this sign, right? Then Y will go up. Because I want to examine the top one first. So this, you see, there are 2 signs you want to fill up, right? This and this, right? If this is bigger, this will be smaller. If this is smaller, this will be bigger, right? So depending on which one you want to go and fill up. So if I want to fill up this sign, I want to check whether this is bigger and smaller, right? I want to check whether this is bigger and smaller. For this one, Y must what? Increase. So if I want to fill up this sign, I want to check whether this sign is bigger or smaller, then all this area, my Y will what? Increase. So I'll put increase here. You can also choose to, some people prefer to go bottom-up approach. Some people like top-down approach. Up to you, okay? If I want to look at this sign instead, then if I want to choose this sign, means my Y must what? Must fall. I show you both, okay? Suppose I want to choose this sign. Means Y must go what? Up. Up, right? Okay? Let's take a look. Here is equal. Equal up. This one will go what? Up. Look. Over here. Yes, this one must go what? You know that if this one go up, this item go up, and this right-hand side is unchanged. So if this item go up, this item must go down. Right? Because if this item, if you spend more on Y, your income is the same. You spend more on Y, means that your spending on X must fall. Fall, right? So fall means what? Which effect must win? Quantity effect must win, right? Because they are opposing effect, what, right? If quantity effect wins, means what? Your quantity effect is big, means what? Your PED is bigger than 1. You get it? Understand? You are getting it? Okay, so what if I want to examine the... Anyway, once I know that this is bigger than 1, I know this will be what? Smaller than 1 already, right? But I can still examine for you. Okay, let's take a look. Imagine now, I and I'm someone who like to go bottom-up approach. So I want to look at this sign first. Okay, this sign, Y is what? Y is down, right? So if Y is down, Let's take a look now. Over here equal, down will go down, and same. When my income is equal, I spend less on Y, means that I have to spend more on X. Right? So which effect win here? The price effect win. Right? So the price effect is bigger than the quantity effect. Or you can put it this way, the quantity effect is less than proportional than the price effect. So this will be what? Smaller. You get it? So which one you want to choose, up to you. If someone would choose the top one, just now the green color. If I want to choose to fill up the bottom one first, the purple color. Can? So once I fill up this, step 4 is done. Okay, step 4 done. Can? So step 4 is all dividing the sides, and you don't need to divide a lot, right? Divide according to the characteristics they want you to examine in the question. Remember what we learned about PED, something that we have learned about PED. Whenever the characteristics of the good in the question is a given good, right? Whenever it's a given good, you cannot what? You cannot derive your PED. You cannot conclude a PED. Remember this thing? Okay? Remember the PED equation when you divide the sides? Okay? Some of the students will ask, what if it's a given good? Then for given good, right, there's no way you can conclude the PED for given good. Okay? So I'm going to show you something here. Okay? To let you have a very, very good view of PED. Let's go through the 5-step model. Step 1, you happily draw your budget line. Okay? You choose a point A, and you curve left, and you curve right, and this is your UO. Trace down. This is your XO, and this is your YO. We look at a normal case where you are being paid an income, okay? So IO over PXO, okay? And IO over PYO, right? This is your initial consumer equilibrium setup, and you're going to expect a shock. Suppose over here, I let the shock be what? PX increase, right? I let the shock be PX increase. So step 2, they will give you a shock. In an MCQ, typically you have a shock. They will tell you whether the price of X increase or fall, or if they never use, stimulate your own shock, right? Okay, so suppose PX increase. Then you know that step 2, you need to derive a new budget line. So over here, the maximum amount of quantity you can consume for Y is the same, but amount of X you consume will be lesser. And I told you, remember, don't move all the way until here. Because when you move all the way until here, you take away what? You take away the condition of given good, right? Right? You know your budget line is going to pivot inwards. If you draw, I say don't pivot across your XO. Because when you pivot across your XO, you take away, if the question gives you given good, you cannot analyze given good. Can? So, you see, this is what I meant. I will pivot here, okay? And this will be my IO over PX1. And why? From here to here, if you choose any point here, we are talking about what? Given good. Because price of X go up and you consume more X, that means you violate the law of demand. We are talking about what? Given good, right? And only all this point, you will consume more X than at XO, right? Or if you choose any equilibrium here, you will consume more X than at XO. So these are all given good and these are non-given. This one you all know, right? So think note of this, okay? Think note of this first. These are what? From all the equilibrium from here to here. If you're going to choose any equilibrium from here to here, we are talking about you are a given good. Okay? You are a given good. Think note of this. Okay? That's why I say don't pivot too much, or else you cannot illustrate a given good. Can? Okay. This is your step 2. Step 3, what do we learn? We learn to derive the Higgs equilibrium, right? Because you need that to break down your income and substitution effect. You know what's the scary thing? When I look at your face, right? It seems that you have forgotten everything I've taught. Okay, never mind. Okay, you will adjust your income. You will adjust your income. So you will adjust until you can afford what? You will adjust your income until, to keep real income constant, you will adjust your income up or down until you can afford your previous utility level. So I adjust until the touch point stop. This will be my CH, and this will be my income compensation line for Higgs. Right? and it's when you adjust your income is a parallel shift, right? You adjust up or you adjust down, right? Then you have your CH. You have your CH. Okay, right? Then you have your XH. Of course, I'm not going to go into all the concept. And you know that from XO to XH, you have your what? Substitution effect for hexane, right? Okay, anyway, I'm not going to go into this. Okay, this is step 3. Then what we have for step 4? Okay, anyway, I'm not going to go into this. So to make the diagram easier, to let you see, okay? What do you have for step 4? Step 4 is about dividing the sides, right? Dividing the sides, okay? Because they will give you condition and you have to put all the condition into your diagram so you know what are the point that you can choose in the context of the question. That means what are the equilibrium you can choose. If they never give you any condition, you can choose practically any equilibrium here to be your point B. But if they insert in condition, means what? You will restrict your range of point B on your new budget line, right? So let's take a look at PED, the one that students find it very confusing, right? PED is the one, the rest is easy. Normal inferior good is easy, complement or substitute is easy, given or non-given good is easy. So the only slightly more tricky one is PED, okay? And remember what I told you about PED? PED, what do? You zoom in. The reference point is point A, then you start to what? You start to divide the sides, horizontal line, and you can have up, and you can have down, and you can have PED of X. You don't know whether it's bigger or smaller than 1, so I leave the inequality empty and you're going to fill up these two signs. Right? Right? So far, you all can recall. Anyway, prelim is coming. I hope you all can recall. Okay? Then for PED, what do you learn about PED? Is the use of this equation. Whenever you want to divide the sides for PED, you use this equation. Px x plus py y equals to I, right? This is the standard equation. This is the standard equation. And in this equation, you have 5 variables, right? X and Y is in the diagram. X and Y is in the diagram. And you have the other 3 variables, what? These are the short variables where you have your Px, Py, and income. So in this equation, you have 5 items or 5 variables. So far, can you understand? I'm trying to go slow here, okay? I don't want to spend too much time on this. And you know that this equation must be fulfilled at any consumer equilibrium, right? Because in order to maximize your utility, you will always, in the context, you always what? Spend all your income. This is the condition that you always have to fulfill at every single consumer equilibrium. Because one of the conditions for you to maximize your utility is given whatever income you have, okay, you spend all, so you can consume the most, right? Okay, so this condition must hold. Okay, so imagine I give you a shock. This up. Okay, then of course when I shock Px up, my Py will be equal, income will be equal. Okay, easy. Then let's take a look. This is the case. Imagine, what did I tell you to do for the next direction to find is what? You look at the item that's being shocked. There are 3 items here. First item is total spending on X. Second item is total spending on Y. Third item is your what? Is your income, right? Third item is your income. Okay, so normally the shock will hit one of this item, right? So the shock hit Px now, so hit this item. So what you do here is this. You check whether is it a given good. If in the context of the question it's not a given good, right? It's not a given good, means what? Because of the law of demand, when price of X go up, you'll consume less X, right? And when you consume less X, this is what happens when you consume less X. Okay, you have opposing direction on this spending. Okay, listen here. You have opposing direction on this spending. So over here, this is what? This is what? This is equal. The right hand side is equal. This one, remember this direction, depending on which sign you want to choose. Suppose I want to choose the top sign here. The top sign here. So I let it go up. So if I'm gonna fill up the top sign here, I let it go up. Look, over here, this will go up. Okay? And this one, you know that if your income is if your income is the same and you spend more on good Y, means that you will spend less on good X, means that which effect will win? You know that this effect win. And when you know that this effect win, means what? The quantity effect is more than proportional than the price effect. Therefore, the PED must be bigger than 1, right? This is the thought processes Okay, but one thing, one condition that we realize in order to derive the PED, the sign, whether it's bigger or less than 1, right? I have a few things I want to tell you, okay? Okay, first one is this. They have to be in opposing direction, right? Because only when they are in opposing direction, when you conclude this direction, then you know which one win, right? Then you know whether the quantity effect is bigger or smaller than the price effect. Quantity effect bigger than the price effect, PED bigger than 1. Quantity effect less than the price effect, PED less than 1. So in the first place, you know that you can conclude this. You can conclude this direction because this one is equal, this one is chosen by you, right? So anytime you want to consume more Y, means that you spend more on Y, means that the spending on X must fall. So once you know the spending of X must fall, and you know that P and X move in opposite direction, right? You know which effect win. From there, you can conclude a PED, right? So why given good cannot work? Look, if it's a given good, take a look here. If it's a given good, it's something very interesting. If it's a given good, means what? Means that when price of X increase, given good. When the price of X increase, I will what? I will buy more X. I will buy more X. Practically, in the case of a given good, right? The spending of X can only go what? Can only go up. Oh, look here. Can only go up, right? Then in this case, means what? In the case of given good, if your X is a given good, when price of X increase, you can only what? You will always consume more X, so you will always spend what? You will always spend more on X. One more time. If the context they give you a given good, when suppose your shock is PX increase, when the price of X increase, without fail, you will what? Consume more X. Then the spending of X will only go what? Up. And if your income is the same, remember I have no income shock here, I only shock my price, right? My income is the same and I spend more on X, it practically means what? Without fail, you must spend less on Y, right? That means your equilibrium Y will only be what? Your equilibrium Y will only be what? Will only be down. You will always consume less Y, right? In the context of given good, do you see here? In the context of given good, whenever you have a given good, suppose you simulate a shock, your PX increase, you will buy more X. Price increase and you buy more X, your spending on X will only go up. And a shock is a PX shock, what? You never shock a PY or income, right? So given the same income, when you spend more on X, means that you have to spend less on Y, right? Given good, up, up. This one sure up. This one up. Income the same, since you spend more on X, means that you have to spend less on Y, means that your equilibrium Y must only what? Fall. And let's take a look at the equilibrium for given good. Where are the equilibrium for given good? These are all the equilibrium for given good, right? No matter which point I choose here, my Y will be what? This is my original Y. This is my original Y. No matter which point I choose here, my Y will be what? Lesser, right? I choose here. No matter which equilibrium I choose here, my Y will be lesser, right? My Y must fall. Understand? So, do you see? And the other thing is very interesting about given good is this. Because both move up, right? This one up, both move up. I cannot tell which effect is bigger. You get it? There's no way to tell which effect is bigger. Therefore, whenever you are given a given good, right? You cannot conclude the PED. So, it means what? It means what, you know? Because earlier, when I conclude this, right, take a look here. I know that anything up, okay, Y go up, PED is bigger than 1, okay? When Y go down, PED is, suppose here. So if I conclude PEDX, over here PEDX is bigger than 1, means that below here PEDX will be what? Less than 1, right? Take note of this. So below here means what? Below here means, hey, this is the key point I want to say. Below here means what? These are all the equilibrium you have. If you choose any Y above, okay, PD of X is bigger than 1, right? Because if you choose any of this equilibrium, means that your Y increase, right? Your Y increase compared to your YO. Your Y increase, right? Your Y increase. Can? But if PD less than 1 means all this equilibrium. All this equilibrium you can choose excluding here to here. Because all this equilibrium belongs to given good, right? And all this equilibrium, your PD cannot be concluded. You understand? I give you the given good case. Do you understand what I'm trying to say here? So anything above all these equilibrium PDs, x is bigger than 1. All this equilibrium PD, x is less than 1 until here, because given good, remember this point, all this, all these are equilibrium for given good. And at all this equilibrium, your PD cannot be concluded. Understand? So practically, if you're going to show PD is less than 1, you can only choose from here to here. Because at all these points, you cannot conclude the PD. Understand? Hey, take note of this also. Sometimes even if the PD is cannot be determinate, right? It's also a way to prove the question false, right? You all learned this in 2009. If your PD is indeterminate, it is also a way to prove the question false as well, right? Okay, Ken? So, understand this? Okay, this is your PD for given good, which I think all of you should really take a look again and understand what I have taught so far. Ken? You know why I'm going through all this thing? It's because I need you to understand the PD in the context of given good very, very well. So your new equilibrium, your new consumer equilibrium will always be on your new budget line. Okay? And a certain portion of your new budget line, if you choose a certain portion, and that means in this case, all this equilibrium we are talking about what? Given good. That means all this given good equilibrium, right? You cannot conclude the what? The PD. So if I say PD of x is less than 1, we are only talking from here to here only, right? Here and here is what? Indeterminate. Understand? Hey, important, really important to understand this given good. Okay. So even the context of the question, whether they tell you it's a given good or never tell you it's a given good, right? Take note, whenever you draw your budget line, right, you always have a segment where if you choose your equilibrium there, you are assuming you are illustrating a given good. Whether the question tell or not tell you is not important. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Whenever you have a new budget line, you can choose, your point B can be anywhere here, right? But every new budget line, you always have a segment where if you choose any equilibrium there, you are showcasing a given good. And those equilibrium that you choose there, suppose you want to choose it there, you cannot conclude your PED. Understand? Especially if MCQ give you 4 diagrams. Understand? Okay, I want to make sure you understand. That's just a prompting to tell you all this thing. You all understand? Okay? Ken? So I want you to know the diagram very, very well. Okay. Okay, good. This is the first one. Ken? Okay, last one. Step 5. Look at step 5. Step 5 is to choose your new equilibrium, point B. I have no point B yet. Okay? And your new point B, take note, must always be on your new budget line. Look, it must be here. Your point B must be on the new budget line. And why but they will give you constraint. Imagine if they never tell you anything. They never give you any constraint. They never say that, oh, Y must be an inferior good. Means what? You can choose any single point here to be your point B. But what do they do here whenever they give you a condition? Is to constrain your choice of point B on your budget line. Do you understand what he's trying to do here? So when he gives you certain characteristics of the goods, like normal or inferior goods, or given goods, or complement substitute, right? And if you can choose the right point B, you showcase your understanding that you know the concept well. Understand? So because all the characteristics that he gives you in a question, right, is to assess your understanding of the concept. And all these characteristics, their job is what? Their job, at least in this context, is to constrain, is to put a constraint on your choice of point B. You get it? So over here, Y is inferior good. Y is inferior good. Shh. Okay, never mind. Do one more. I just do X only, right? Okay? Come on, one more. Careless mistake. Not careless mistake, just not careless mistake, okay? Because I focus on teaching. Here, Y, I zoom now to XH and I draw a horizontal line, okay? Horizontal line. Can? Because now we're looking at Y, right? Okay, so over here can go up or can go down. Can? Okay, over here, Y is equals to what? Look, same thing again. From CH to your point B. From CH to your point B, your income what? Your income 4. If your income 4, from CH to point B, your income 4. If X is a normal good, you will consume what? If Y is a normal good, you will consume less y. From CH to point B, your income will fall. If y is a normal good, you will consume less y than at YH. So below is normal good. Okay, below is normal good. Below is normal good. Can? And on top will be what? Inferior good. Okay? Okay, so this is to divide your y. Earlier I divide the x. Actually I don't even need to divide this. In this question I don't even need. Because in this question they never talk about what x is normal or inferior good. So practically I don't need to divide this. Okay, so make it easy lah. I don't need to divide this. Can? I don't need to divide this. So this will be what it should look like on your answer sheet. Okay? Okay. Let's take a look. They give you this condition. So in other words, if they never give me any condition, my point B can be any point. But because if they give me this condition, y is an inferior good. Inferior good is this area and above, right? So my point B, I can only choose from here to here, right? I can only choose from here to here. You get it? So I don't care where I choose. Suppose I choose here, point B. I choose here, point B. Okay? If I choose here, I curve left, curve right, right? Whenever I choose the point, I need to put in my indifference curve. This will be my U1. So my U1, from here, if I choose a point here, I also know a few things. I'll be worse off because my utility 1 is less than my utility O, right? I also know I'll be worse off. But this is not what the question is asking for, okay? So if I choose a point here, because I only can choose from here to here, I choose a point here. I realize that, at this point, my PD of x is what? Is what? At this point, all this area, your PD of x is what? All this area, your PD of x is what? Bigger than 1. So I realize that, this is what? True. Okay? But don't be so fast to conclude this is true. What did I say? You have to, this is only true for what? The normal case. And you need to do the same for income in kind. To conclude that it is really true for all cases, unless the question specifically say that in the case of income in kind. Then you only need to examine this. Or the question particularly say that this guy is receiving a wage of certain amount. Then of course, if he's receiving a wage, means what? Income in kind is out of the picture already. Because do you understand? Or else you have to examine, to be rigorous, both. To cancel away that part A, A, B, C, D, MCQ, right? To prove that sentence is false so that you can ignore it, right? You should examine both cases. Okay? Remember. But a lot of time, when I was looking at the MCQ, they will be quite clear. They say, maybe they will tell you, oh, in the case of income in kind, I only need to look at this. Or they will tell you, oh, if the guy receives a certain wage of income, monetary income of IO, then I only need to look at this. Understand? Okay? Can. So, this is true, right? Let's take a look here. Okay? 5-step model applied, the same thing. Look, initial equilibrium setup, the only difference is these two. Okay. Step 2, shock happen, PX increase. PX increase, PX increase means what? I need to draw a new budget line. Look here. At this point, is there a PX? No, so this point will remain the same. But when PX increase, the numerator become what? Bigger. So the maximum Y I can consume, the maximum income I will receive when I sell off all my X will be higher. So the maximum Y I can consume will be what? More. So when I draw, right, this is like X bar, all the X I'm being paid, all the unit of X I sell them all PX1, and now I'm selling them at a what? Higher price, so I receive more money and divide by PYO. So this will be the maximum Y I can consume will be more. And I draw. This will be my new budget line. Do you see something very, very interesting here? Look, PX shock in normal case, the pivot is like what? Like this. Do you see? But PX shock, the same PX shock, in income in kind case, the pivot is like this. So everything could change. Whatever that's true here could be what? False here. Understand?